Enterprise deals have two complications. The first, multiple stakeholders. That means you have to manage more than one decision maker and influencer in order to get a deal done. The second complication, large deal sizes. Simply put, the company you're selling to has to spend more money with you in order to solve the problem that you solve. Both of those two things mean you have a more complex sale, more people, bigger decisions, longer sales cycles. And because of that, enterprise deals can be very, very difficult and can also take a long time. Well, by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what you have to do to build, but more importantly, maintain momentum when working an enterprise deal. Let's dive right in. One of the most difficult parts of talking about enterprise deals is just defining enterprise. Every organization has a different definition. If you Google what is an enterprise deal, there are going to be 1,000 different ways to classify. Do you do it by employee count? Do you do it by revenue? I have a very simple definition that we're going to operate on for the purpose of this video here. And that's there's a complicated sales process, which means you're managing multiple stakeholders and the company you're selling to is making a significant investment in your product or service. That's what we're going to use for now. For you, it might be, hey, our enterprise deals are $1 million a year. Maybe it's something like 60 grand a year. It doesn't really matter if there's multiple decision makers, longer sales cycle, bigger deal value, and more of a complex sale. We're in the clear, and that's what we're talking about today. What I want to walk you through is something that I call the enterprise sales flywheel. This is the best way that I know how to build and maintain momentum in an enterprise deal. I can promise you the vast majority of enterprise deals are lost because they go dark, they go stale, they move forward with a different competitor, the timing was a little bit off. There's all of these reasons, but at the end of the day, we are losing because we are not maintaining any momentum throughout the deal. So in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that. So what is the enterprise sales flywheel? Great question. Let's go over it. Alrighty, so the top of the flywheel is the current status of the deal. At all times, you need to have your finger on the pulse of what the current status is. It's going to change as you meet with more decision makers, as you learn more about their buying process, and as you're really driving that deal forward. Why is it so important? Well, because the current status drives us towards a business case. And that's the second part of our flywheel here. The business case is what's justifying the organization to spend money on your product or service. It's because they've built a business case. They have a problem that once solved will generate a lot of value for the organization, either by increasing revenue or decreasing costs typically. So the current status drives towards a business case that we are making with that organization through our sales process. What's the next part? It's the milestones of the deal. The business case drives progress on the milestones. These are the milestones, the things that have to happen that are required in order to get a deal done with that organization. Without having a clear understanding of the milestones, then we're not going to know what needs to happen in order to get a deal done. And the second we lose track of that, we're going to be unsure on how to make progress. These deals are much more complicated than a one-call close, so we need to be able to have a clear plan, a clear mapped out set of milestones that are required in order to get a deal done. The only way we're making progress on these milestones is by having that business case. If the organization that we're selling to isn't crystal clear on the business case, we're not getting those progress on the milestones. And that's why this is a flywheel, because as we make progress on the milestones, it updates the current status of the deal, which drives us towards that business case, which drives progress on the milestones. This is how the flywheel keeps spinning and keeps us with momentum throughout the deal. So that's, of course, something that makes a lot of sense on the surface, but how do we manage through that? It's what we call a mutual action plan. This is something that you're going to do with your main point of contact at the organization to get complete clarity on their business case, which is really a collection of challenges they need to solve and why they need to solve them, the milestones, and then also get clarity around the current status as we're going through them. So let's jump into the mutual action plan, and I'll show you exactly how to organize this to build and maintain momentum in enterprise sales. All right, the first part of this is in the upper left-hand corner. are the challenges, desired outcomes, and what's needed for that organization that's going to justify the purchase of your product or service. So you can see we have challenge 1, 2, 3, or 4. With your main point of contact, you're going to get the different challenges that they need to solve, what their desired outcome is by solving those challenges. That's the why behind solving those problems. And then finally, what they believe is needed. Now, you might shape some of this as well, but ultimately their perspective is the most important. So we need to understand what they believe they need in order to solve these challenges, which gets them to their desired outcome. That, at its core, is really important for us to have a level playing field of what needs to happen in order to get a deal done, because that's their main objective. That brings us right down to milestones. Once we understand the challenges that they want to solve, it's all about what's it going to take for us to be able to implement a product or service that helps solve those challenges. So we have a place for all of the different milestones, who participates in each one of these milestones. This is why that multiple stakeholder makes it much more complicated, because for some organizations, you're going to need to talk to their IT department. Maybe you need to talk to procurement at some point. Maybe there's a customer technical department where they know about their users and you interface with their users, so they need to be able to map out exactly what's going to happen before they even decide to evaluate your solution in a significant way. These are the milestones we need to make sure that we outline. So you list out all the milestones, you list out all the participants that are going to be involved in each milestones, and when those milestones are due. Ultimately, we are leading towards a date that they need something implemented so they can solve the problem that they're trying to solve. Now, each one of these milestones is going to have a status. That status is going to be either scheduled, needs to be scheduled or to do, or completed. And these get checked off as you're going through all of these milestones. And this is a shared document, so the prospect is going to be able to see at any time how we're making progress across all of these different milestones. Then we have action items. These are things that we need to take action on based on what happened on those meetings that are under that milestone. And then finally, a place to leave all of the notes. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, we're just updating the current status. This is both good internally because we're keeping our finger on the pulse of the deal, but also your prospect has a place where they can see where are we with the deal. It's this level of organization that allows you to build and maintain momentum with enterprise deals. But on top of that, it creates a really clear framework for the prospects to manage their own buying process. And that gives you a huge leg up because you're starting to shape their buying process a bit, and that allows you to really stand out and get ahead when it comes to closing these enterprise deals. Hope that was helpful. If you got value out of this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.